all right. Positive energy all the time. Here we go. Here we go. As we always do, represent your city. Yes, indeed. I'm going to take it easy tonight, have a lighter conversation. I was scrolling through YouTube, seen a bunch of foolishness. I don't understand Africans not just being cool with being in Africa. There's so many Africans trying to sell us Africa. It's weird. I was on the 154 show. I seen a clip. There was some young Africans there. They was talking about Black Americans. It was weird. And it was like, they don't go nowhere. They don't ever be nowhere. You know, I'm in Europe and I call my guy and be, I'm in Amsterdam. He's like, I'm in Berlin. They was young. And it was like, they don't go nowhere. They don't get to see the world. And I'm thinking, Africans, you see a lot of the world because you don't want to be in Africa. You know what I'm saying? If I was in Africa, I'd be in Europe too. You know, what the hell, bruh? What are we doing? If I was in Africa and I was young, I'd be in Berlin too before I'd be in Africa. Unbelievable. So I'm watching these Africans making up all the excuses why they traveling. And I'll be honest. I think Africans deep down inside want us to come to Africa to make it better. That's what that's what it's beginning to look like. It's beginning to look like Africans are mad because we won't come to Africa. But we only 50 million. We can't fix Africa. We can't fix Africa. So that was real weird. There was a couple, but they was young though. There was some young Africans. So, when they get young people on there like that, you have them saying stuff they wish they didn't say later, and you saving that. It was stupid. It sounded stupid. Yeah. The idea that Black Americans don't travel is like the dumbest. I guess I don't know where they got. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's because Africans are all over the world because they don't want to be in Africa. Maybe that's it. Because Africans are definitely all over the world and they don't want to be in Africa. It's real phony trying to sell us Africa when you don't want to be there. And you don't want to be there. Africans don't want to be there. But come on in, I got a lot to talk about. I called my boy from Africa and I called my boy from Jamaica because I had to get some international input on this situation. It's crazy. But it's crazy. Africans are real insecure. It's weird. And then what's phony is when they keep identifying themselves as Africans on social media, knowing damn well they're not Africans. They are different tribes. They don't get along. But when they try to sell us Africa, they call us Africans like they're really Africans. like Africa's a big old happy home. That's how they be selling it. Y'all ever notice how Africans sell Africa? Like you need to come to Africa, Africa. They never say you need to come to Nigeria, or they never say, yo, Afro Black Americans, you need to move to Ghana. They never be specific. They just say Africa. I'm like, where? Up there, Morocco, Egypt? Because y'all don't even control Africa. It's really weird, but I'm going to talk about it, have a little fun. Weird. That 154 show is horrible. It's a horrible, worst ever. God, you're talking about messing up a show. They would have called me. I would have helped. I would have helped them with that show. That show was horrible. 154 is for the 54 countries in Africa, right? Now, if I was helping them out, we would never talk about nothing but the 54 countries in Africa. We wouldn't talk about America. We wouldn't talk about England, Brazil, nothing. Not if we named that show 154 and I was controlling it and I was there helping, it would be 154 on my soul. It wouldn't be no other places except the 54 countries in Africa. They messing that show up. On my soul, they messing that show up. I'm like, bro, I thought this 154. America's not one of the 54 countries. Okay, boo. Oh, have mercy. Come on in, make some noise. Rep your city, rep your city. I don't see anybody in the chat. Is my chat working? I don't know. Say something in the chat. I don't know if my chat's working. I don't see nobody. If you hear, rep your city. I'm representing the Windy City. Shout out to everybody on Kick, everybody on Twitch, everybody on YouTube, everybody on Facebook. Okay, people's here. I was wondering. We got Shreveport in the building. I'm like, I don't think my chat's working. 100 to Ellerton. Boy, I tell you, I got to do all the dirty work, huh, Cat? Tell your husband I said hi. I'm glad he's doing all right. Yeah, tell the big homie I said, what's up? And salute to the general. Greenville, North Carolina. Good to see you, Teresa. Boy, I tell you. Some of this stuff is crazy. I don't know. I don't understand Africans complain about foundational Black Americans. I don't understand that part. If you're in the motherland, I don't understand. I can see Africans complaining about Black Americans that's in Africa, right? Like I could complain about Africans that's over here. But I can't see you in Africa complaining about Black Americans way over here. It doesn't even make sense from over here, over there. But Africa's big, supposed to be a little bit more, of a boss. Africa don't be Africa. Well, I know why, because they're not really Africans. They're not united. So it's crazy. Then I seen this other channel, and they saying we need to be Africans. This is what the Pan African brothers and we need to be Africans. We need to move to Africa. We need to be Africans. We need to make our whole identity Africans. And I think a lot of people, I don't think they really think that through. A lot of times when you talk to the Afrocentric people, have y'all ever noticed, foundational Black Americans, that they act like we don't got families? You ever notice that? Like I could just go to Africa. You ever notice that? We can't just move to Africa. Africans are moving because they have to, because Africa can't take care of Africans. Africa's struggling, right? They ain't got no jobs, they ain't got nothing. The youth is fleeing Africa. Okay. But we don't have to do that. So the idea that we just supposed to come to Africa is the most dumbest, stupidest idea ever. It's a totally, it's like a total fake idealistic concept. For real. It's like real make believe. It's not like real life. You know what I'm saying? It's like people that's not dealing with real life on everything. That's why I didn't go to Africa. It's not real life. That's craziness. Like Vic Mensa, he wants us to claim we African. Right? He thinks I should claim I'm African. Here's the problem. If I claim I'm an African, it's still illegitimate. My parents not here, but if they was here, they're not gonna claim they're Africans. My sister not gonna claim she African. None of my children gonna claim they're Africans. None of my cousins. None of my grandparents. None of my great uncles, aunties, extended family, grandchildren. Nobody's gonna claim they're African but me. So what you're telling me is I should separate myself from my family. But as an African, to denounce his tribe, denounce your tribe, denounce your country. Say you not a Zulu no more. You an American. Let's see the Africans do it first. Let's see the Jamaicans. I've never seen a Jamaican denounce Jamaica. And they always trying to go back to Jamaica. They never be comfortable. I just talked to my boy about this. And he said, no lie, tell. You know what I'm saying? Because I asked my brethren, I said, if you leave Jamaica, can you leave Jamaica and go live in Africa? He said, just me, yeah. But he said, the problem is I have to leave my family. I have to leave my mother. I have to leave my father. And that not feasible, him say. You know what I'm saying? I said, that's what I'm trying to tell people. Africans be leaving because they have to leave. They come, they make money, they send it back to Africa. But if they did not have to leave, they would leave. So I called my African brother, and he said, I'm 100% correct. He lives in the United States. He says he hates it. He says he he likes the United States way of living, but he don't like not seeing his grandfather, not seeing his mother regularly, not seeing his uncle, not seeing his dad. He said when his mother got sick, he couldn't even get there right away. He had to make all these arrangements to go see his mama. He said, Pharaoh, I didn't get to see my mom for like 3.5 days later because I couldn't just get on no plane to Africa like people think. I said, I'm trying to tell him, bro. I'm trying to tell him some of these concepts, it's concepts like people just individuals. They don't take the whole family into consideration. That's why some people they move to Africa, they have to come back. They have to come back. You know why? Because after 2 or 3 years not seeing their auntie, not seeing their mama, not seeing their daddy, their cousins, they can't take it no more. They realize they left their life here. Who gonna do that? That's why I didn't go to Africa. That's why I didn't go. I was thinking about going to Africa way back, 1980s. I was thinking about going to Africa. I got to Hawaii. All I had to do was make the next move. But I said, hey, my guardian angel came to me and said, Pharaoh, if when you get to Africa, if you turn on the news and something happened to Black America is back in America, how would you feel? I said, oh, I got to go back. I can't leave them over there. I cannot leave y'all over here and go to Africa. I ain't gonna be comfortable. I'm gonna keep it straight up. Leaving the people I grow up around, Black Americans, Americans in general. Well, I'm born 1958 in America. This is my country. This is where I'm at. And just go to Africa and just leave everybody I know here and move with a bunch of strangers in today's situation? How that make some sense? She said a man from Kenya that works at the raceway and so me and yeah, and a lot of them people, man, the way they treat each other, you imagine how they treat you over there when you outnumbered. Yeah, mess around and go live somewhere and be outnumbered and really see how them people really are. Ain't no way. I'll go over there and be in the belly of the Africans and be stuck without taking their disrespect and stuff. Jamaica, either. That's why I didn't go to Jamaica. That's why I didn't go to Trinidad. I had the opportunity to go to Trinidad. I had the opportunity to go to Jamaica. But I seen how the brothers from St. Thomas act, St. Croix, the Jamaicans, I seen how they act. Like if you watch people, sometimes they'll show you something they don't want you to see. I said, no, ain't no way I'm gonna get stuck down in Jamaica with this behavior right here. Because they're in Chicago. So they can't go far because they in my turf. I knew that. I knew that way back. I knew the Jamaicans, they had to tone it down because they in the foreign land. They in my, but then what they gonna act like in Jamaica? Well, I'm totally up under them. Oh, hell no. See what I'm saying? That's when you're gonna see the real hate. That's when people gonna talk to you crazy. You might even get hurt because you're down here alone. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'll pass. So I said, let me talk about this because this is a little weird. Because, you know, no matter what I do with my family, claim to be African? No. So what I look like the only one claiming to be something, and the whole rest of my family ain't that. Right? So I've seen some Africans talking about we need to claim Africa. We need to do that. Basically saying we need to stop being what we are and be Africans. But here go the thing. I'm going to ask a real serious question. Will Africans give up what they are to be us? No. You ain't going to get no Africa to say he not Watusi, that he not whatever Nigerian or whatever. You'll never get them to get a stuff up. You ain't going to get them to get a stuff up. Look at Mexicans. Mexicans be Mexicans. They don't never get that up. So the idea that you want me to say I'm an African when all my family is Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, you sound like a fool. Yeah, you sound like a fool. Vic Mensa sound like a fool. Now, Vic, his daddy from Ghana, his mama white, he really need to shut the hell up. Because he trying to claim he African because of his daddy. But, boy, you ain't no African. You a Wafrican. He want to take it to Jamaica. I bet he do. She gonna FA and FO. She got to go find out. She grown. She grown. And he might be nice to her. It might be all right. You know, it might be all right. I'm not going to curse their situation. It could be all right. He could turn out to be a great man. It could turn out to be a nice life for him. You just never know. But what he don't know, she gonna want to come back to with her mama and her family. I don't know if he know. See, that's an excellent point right there. That's what's going on. She here. He homesick. So he gonna pull her there. But when he pull her there, she gonna want to pull him back. The same way he want to go to Jamaica, she gonna want to come back to the U.S. But you know, he want to go and his mama see the baby and all that. But this gonna be a pull, push, pull, push, pull. Cause the same way he homesick, when she get down there, she gonna be homesick. She ain't gonna want to stay down there. Now, in some cases, she might. Some people they go, they like the lifestyle, and they get right in, and it's good. She's a woman, and technically that's like a husband, so it's common for a woman to follow her husband. You know, that's kind of common. But she will get homesick. And if I was to bet, I would bet she ain't gonna want to stay in no Jamaica. Not if she born in America. Hey Teresa, she will be back soon. Okay. She'll be back real soon. Because she in Florida and there's a lot of immigrants, so she probably thinking it's similar. But boy, oh boy, wait till she get down there. And they just had a hurricane. Jamaica messed up. They ain't fixed Jamaica back yet. She'll see. Yeah, she'll be back. But they young, so you can't pay young people no attention, Teresa. We be crazy. I was way out in Hawaii. So, hey, they're young, adventurous. I wish them the best. Young people don't count. Hey, Teresa, this conversation has nothing to do with young people, okay? Oh, my soul. They don't count. When we young, yeah, this don't count if you. How old is she? How old is him and her, those two? The man and her. What's their age? I got to see their age because if they older, that's interesting. How old are they? Because if he's much older, he's 32. Oh, it's going to be a disaster for her because he's 12 years older. That's going to be a disaster. She'll be back. Yeah, it's going to be a disaster. Mm-mm. Now, if he was in his 20s, yeah, but 32, that's going to be a disaster. He too old. She'll be back. Have I ever noticed how Africans what? Hey, she like who she like. Can't do nothing about that. And it's not that bad of a thing. Like I say, could still work out. I mean, my last marriage, there was a 15-year difference. We stayed married like 23 years. So it could work. It could work. I can't say it ain't gonna work. It could work. One thing is you ain't that far away, so she can hop right back. Dallas and New Orleans got a big African population. Yeah, I know. They got a lot of Africans. Africans is everywhere because Africa is no good. That's the first sign right there. Africa ain't no good. That's why they all over the world. They all over the world because Africa ain't no good. But when their numbers get up too much, they start acting crazy. It's gonna go bad. It's definitely gonna go bad if they don't behave themselves. They're gonna get chased right out the country. Yeah, typical makes sense. Makes sense. You know what I'm saying? You know, our daughters, we got them to give them away in marriage. We give them away. So with the daughters, you gotta let them do what they got. You gotta let them do what they're gonna do. It's hard for a woman because she gotta wait to be chose. You know what I'm saying? And when she get chose, she ain't only gonna pass it up if she like to do. Because how long it's gonna be before she get chose by another one she gonna like? So women, they gotta do what they gotta do. When a man come along that they like, they gotta jump on that because when is another one gonna come? See, for men, we do the choosing, but women gotta wait to be chose. So, hey, we can't really judge them like men. When somebody come their way and they like them, they gotta go with it. Or what? Sit and wait. Wait how long? We got Willington, Florida in the building. You know what I'm saying? Wait how long? So, if you got daughters, you know, you just got to ride with whatever happened. I got three daughters, and hey, it is what it is. And when you got sons, you got to ride with whatever, because they going to pick whatever woman they pick. You might not like her. But hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Teresa, you can't win, Teresa. So you might as well let it go. Take it from me. I got six children. Teresa, you can't win with that one. All you can do is beat a mama. And once you get them a certain age, baby girl, it's over with. It's over with. Now, as a mama, I know it's hard to let go, but I'm telling you right now, you might as well. All you parents out there, boy, listen. I got six. And let me tell you, they gonna do them. They not gonna do you. Okay, boy, oh boy, oh boy. So Teresa, I can make you feel a lot better because that's how it is for everybody. Welcome to the club. Okay, welcome to the club. Yeah, mommy. Now you a mommy of a 20-year old. Okay. That's why, Teresa, that's why once that happened, that's why once mommy look and say, man, these kids out there doing whatever, doing, I'm finna do me. That's when mommy go, she start upgrading, she start putting on some more sexier clothes, and mommy be outside. Hey, Teresa, once first mommy be like, you know what I'm saying? Man, listen, Teresa, take it from somebody with six kids. You might as well throw your hands up. Teresa, you might as well throw your hands up. All y'all parents out there, once they get 19, 20, you might as well throw your hands up. They might go a direction you like, they might go a direction you don't like. Welcome to being a parent of an adult. You might as well throw your hands up. I'm telling you. Don't be expecting that to be something you're gonna enjoy. I'm gonna tell you, you know, I'm gonna tell you. You be lucky if one of them do exactly what you want, and that's big luck. Yeah, you'll be lucky. I got six of them, and ain't none of them doing nothing. They on their own. I done already figured it out. I don't got no plan in they plans. I was stupid to that, Teresa. I was stupid for thinking I could have plans in they plans. Anyway, they doing them. I just got off the phone with my middle daughter. She got a fish tank. She got a 10-gallon fish tank. Don't know what she doing. So I told her, hey, go to the pet store, call daddy. I'm going to get you the right pump. You need a big pump. You need some snails so you ain't got to keep washing the tank. But that's all I could do is stuff like that. I can't tell her nothing. If you got grown kids and you raised them well, you know they ain't gonna call you, right? The only one, if you don't raise them well, they're gonna call you a lot. But if you raise them real well, they not calling you. Maybe every blue moon. They're not calling you, they doing them. They're not calling you. You raised them to be grown, right? All right, they grown. You didn't raise them to be dependent and call you. So then you be like, well, dang, why you don't call me? You didn't raise them to call you. Think about it. You ain't raised them to call you. Yeah, they gonna do them. Oh, they doing them. The best thing is don't worry about what they doing. The best thing females be calling mom and dad every day. No, they don't. The ones ain't raised right. No, they don't. Mm-mm. Unless they slow. If they slow, yeah. But not no adult women. No, I got three daughters. No, they're not calling. They gonna call their mama more than their daddy. So they might call their mom once a week, maybe sometime, maybe twice, but every day, no. If you got a grown child calling you every day, your baby's slow. Something wrong with it. Something wrong with your baby. Something wrong with them. Something definitely wrong with you. If you grown and you call your mama every day, something wrong with you. I ain't hardly ever called my mama. Look, people say you didn't hardly call your mama. Look, let me give y'all some real knowledge. No, I didn't hardly ever call my mama every blue moon. I would see my mom when I go pick up my mail. Why, Pharaoh? Why you didn't call your mama? Because when I left my mama, she was with my daddy. See, that's my daddy woman. I don't got to check on his wife. See what I'm saying? See, people be wondering if your mama's single and by herself, yeah. But if your mama married to your daddy, you don't be worrying about your mama or your daddy when they marry. This is a psychological fact. If your mama and daddy is married, you are not calling, checking on them, because if anything happened to daddy, what gonna happen? Mama gonna call you, right? And if anything happened to daddy, mama gonna call you. Anything happened to mama, daddy gonna call you. Am I correct? They gonna let you know. So if the phone don't ring, they all right. Now when my mama passed away, that's when I moved in with my daddy. Cause now I gotta watch him. But as long as they was there, they good. They good. So you don't have that worrying vibe when mommy and daddy is together. It's a fact. I ain't lying. Real talk. You only worry about them when they single. But when they married, no. And if you was growing around your mama all your life and stuff, I call my mama, hey mom, what you doing? Nothing. Saying for to cook this stuff or whatever. What you doing? Nothing. And she ain't got nothing to talk about. It's gonna be a short ass conversation unless something happened to somebody. Ain't Claude called. You can tell the conversation ain't going nowhere. That's your mama. She don't got nothing new to talk about. Ain't no new updates. Same mama. You know what I mean? It's the same mama. What is it? It ain't nothing, it's nothing to talk about. Not really. Not like that. Maybe when you younger, yeah, like 19, 20. But by the time you get 30, 40, 50, ah, you know, especially if they're healthy. You know, if they're healthy. Now, if they single, that's different. If they single, it's different. Yeah, you're gonna check on them if they single. I'm talking about when they married. If they single, yeah, you know, mama at home by herself or daddy at home by himself. You're gonna call them, you know, you're gonna check on them quite a bit. So I'm distinguishing the difference between a couple and single. Single parents, you're gonna check on. Married parents, they don't want to be bothered with you anyway. What do you want? You know, you ever been grown up, 30, 40 years old, 50 years old, and your mom and daddy they married, and you call them, they want to know what you want. What do you want? That's what they want to know. So I ain't called my mom and them like that when they was married. Now my mama, she ran behind my sister. That's who she ran behind. So my mama ran behind my sister. Yeah. She was constantly checking on my sister. You know, I don't like to be checked on. You know what I'm saying? What I look like. I'm grown. But she checked on my sister, you know. They girls, they ladies. So, you know, you know, you know, back and forth. And so somebody talk about going to Africa and leaving all my family over here and be way in Africa. Like I said, I called my Jamaican buddy and he was like, I told him what I was going to talk about. And he said, you're right, man. He like, me here to make up money and thing. But he said, you know, me miss my family though, every day. He said every day he miss his family. He not here because me not here because me wanna be, you know. So he said you're gonna be telling them right, Bridget. You don't like leave your family, you know. I said I know, bro. Who, you know, people talking about going to Africa and they leave out their family. It be tripping me out. You're like, I'm going. We need to go to Africa. I'm like, bro, who is we? What do you mean we need to go to Africa? You mean me, my sister, all her kids? Like, are you serious? That don't make no sense. And I had a brother say I should identify as an African. I said, bro, I'm a foundational black American. I'm a black American. He said, but yeah, man, but we all come from Africa. I said, bro, listen. I can't. If I say I'm an African, I'm going to be the only African. My sister ain't going to be African. My nephews ain't going to be African. My grand nephew and niece ain't going to be no African. My kids ain't going to be no African. My grandkids ain't. I'm going to be the only African. That makes sense? The African brother said, boy, Pharaoh, you know, he said, I never thought about it like that. I said, think about it, bro. I said, think about it. I said, if you come here and you say you're a black American, all your family gonna still be Nigerians, right? He said, yo, I can't be no black American, he said. And everybody's a Nigerian. That don't make no sense. That's what he said. I said, that's what I'm trying to tell him, bro. This idea that you can just flip by yourself is crazy. You can't flip by yourself. You're a part of a family already. You can't say, oh, I'm no longer a part of this family. I'm an African. And you're the only African. Your kids ain't African. Your grandkids ain't African, but you are African. But your grandkids still call they still Black Americans. That makes sense. That's stupid. Once your grandparents, your great grandparents, your great great grandparents, your children, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren as Black Americans, that's what you is. You can't change in the middle of the road. How you gonna change when your whole family is already something, bruh? I'm a part of a family structure. My family is already foundational Black Americans. That's what we are. We're not Africans. It is what it is. That's make believe. And it's crazy that they want us to do it, but they don't ever ask Africans to change nothing. Why don't you tell a Nigerian, stop being a Nigerian and be an African? You want me to be just an African, but you don't want Africans to. Africans ain't Africans. Tell a Zulu to be an African. You want me to be an African, but you don't. They never make Africans be Africans. Y'all never notice that? Africans never have to identify as Africans. They always Nigerian, Sudanese, Ethiopian. Am I lying? They don't give up their family and their lineage. They're like, I Ethiopian, my daddy Ethiopian, my granddaddy Ethiopian, and they stand on that. And they don't go all the way back. Well, the Ethiopians, y'all used to be something else, because the Ethiopians y'all used to be Abyssinians. Why you don't call yourself Abyssinians? See what I'm saying? This is how they do us. Because none of them African tribes used to be that. Because that's what they say to us. Well, you ain't always been that. You used to be this and that. Okay, the Africans used to be different stuff. Why you don't make them call themselves what they was originally, if we doing original? That's a fair question. Ain't that a fair question? That's a fair question, ain't it? And that's a fair. If you want me to go back in time, why they don't have to? And then, if you want me to say I'm an African, what African? Because there ain't no Africans in Africa. There's no such group called Africans. So the whole call yourself African is totally professionally and educationally wrong. There is no group in Africa identified as Africans. There's no such people as Africans. Facts. There's not even no such people as Nigerians. Them people not Nigerians. They all different kind of tribes. Watch this. Watch this. Look at this. Let me show you how phony Pan-Africans is. Nigerians won Nigeria until 1897. And guess who named them Nigerians? The British. I rest my case. Look, Nigerians were not Nigerians until 1897. And guess who named them Nigerian? The white man. The British. Now, why they don't tell the Nigerians to stop? That's why Nigerians don't call themselves Nigerians. They call themselves by their tribes. Look, January 8, 1897, The British named them Nigerians. On my soul. On everything I love. What y'all think about that? See? But we can't be foundational black Americans. On top of that, Africa, same way. Africa got its name starting around 146 BC from the Romans. The Romans named it Africa. What y'all think about that? They not even Africans. The Romans named them Africans. And the British named the Nigerians Nigerians. What y'all think about that? See what I'm saying? But they want to go back and say, well, you ain't originally that. You, boy, shut your African ass up. You ain't what nothing you saying either. That's why they don't invite Big Pharaoh on none of them shows. I'm shutting all that down. Because as soon as you invite me over there telling me I'm an African, I'm going to be like, so I'm something that the British named y'all or something? I'm something. You know what I'm saying? No, they don't know that stuff. Because what's Pan-Africanism? You know what I'm saying? That's Pan-European name-Jewism. Everybody, bro, you know everybody don't know. You know everybody don't know what the moles know, bro. Stop playing. Bro, you already know everybody don't know what y'all know. You know that now. You know don't nobody know that. You know nobody know that. You know don't nobody know. Nobody don't know what y'all know. You already know that. Even other gangs, you know, other gangs in Chicago though. Other I don't want to call you no gang member, but I'm saying oops. But you know, other organizations don't know what y'all know. You know that. They don't know that. You ain't thought everybody knew that. You know they don't know nothing. Bro, you know everybody lit ain't lit. Everybody lit ain't lit. You know what I'm saying? You know they don't know that. Y'all probably got the most in-depth knowledge, I would think. Like if you look at everybody's literature and knowledge, I think y'all got the most in-depth knowledge. Everybody else stuff is, kind of basic. It don't really go back like that. Think about it. Don't nobody else knowledge go like that way. Not that I know of. Who? Not no other set. Not that I know of. Even when I was little, y'all was way, you know what I'm saying? Y'all was always on something else. I think the VLs knew a little something, but they wasn't getting into it like that. Nobody wasn't getting into it like Jeff. Jeff was on something. Them other dudes wasn't they wasn't never nobody wasn't never hitting like that. Am I lying though? I ain't lying, am I? Wasn't nobody really hitting on it like that since we was little. Not that I know of. Not that I know of. They was the only ones real deep. The other ones had a little knowledge, don't get me wrong, but not like that. Not that I know of. For real. Right. Exactly. Exactly. We've been here a long time. And a lot of people don't be knowing, bro, that the foundation of Black American Association, as far as associating with that, is really a lineage within a lineage. A lot of people don't understand that. So, foundation of Black America, we say that's our lineage. We mean that's our reparations lineage. And some people think we saying that's our lineage. No, that's our reparation lineage showing how long we need to get paid, starting us. That's our lineage starting with America. And see, some people get that mixed up with our lineage all the way back. Now, when you go all the way back, we all different kind of stuff. So a lot of people don't know that about FBA. FBA is all different type of stuff. Some African in there, some Native American, all kind of stuff. But we dealing with the ones that pick the cotton is FBA. And a lot of people don't understand that. They be bringing up the other lineages which got nothing to do because they think they don't understand what FBA stand for. FBA only stand for our lineage as Americans, not our lineage as people. Because our lineage as people is all different type of people. They had all different type of brothers and sisters from different Native American groups, from different African tribes picking that cotton. And all of us that been here this time, we are foundational Black Americans. And people mix that lineage with your genetic DNA lineage. So they be like, well, why you call yourself Pharaoh? That's back before the Revolutionary War. That ancient, that's my ancient lineage. My ancient identification. Atlantis and Mu and Kemet and Ethiopia. But my lineage in terms of the system, the world system today, my lineage is we the ones that put all that work in for free. People mix that up, right? So a lot of people don't know you can have African lineage and be FBA. If you was the one here picking, if you was the one here at the Revolutionary War, you FBA. Because you are foundational what? American. That means you built America. You was the one that built America. It don't matter if you Sioux, Comanche, whatever. If you these melanated people, and if you was the ones that was here through slavery and the freedmen and all that, that's foundational Black American. Because now you're the one that suffered redlining and all of that. So I could be in the Islam, right? And I could go all the way back. But still, my great granddaddy still was the one here getting abused. So the fact that I trace myself back to Mecca or back to Bilal, that's irrelevant when you talk in terms of who was the ones that got cheated, who was the ones that picked the cotton, who was the ones that designed Washington, D.C., built Washington, D.C., who was the ones suffered redlining, who was the ones suffered housing discrimination, couldn't go to schools, getting lynched. Who was that? And that's what people don't understand about foundational Black American. That is a lineage based on reparations. That's a lineage that we the ones built this bad boy. And people get that mixed up. They be asking me, well, why you got Egyptian name? That's back here, bruh. That's back there. Yes, I'm that. But they had my Egyptian ass picking cotton. As a matter of fact, the number one cotton in the world is Egyptian cotton. And according to Sarah, 80% of us is Egyptians, which I need to talk about one day because a majority of the slaves was taken from East Africa. That's why they identify, right, with Egypt and Islam. Because Islam and Egypt come from over there on the east. That's a fact. That comes from the East Africa. Because when you look at East Africa, you look at Egypt, Israel right there, and Mecca right there. That's why brothers be identified with Islam and with Hebrew Israelite, because that's what you really is. Because you're from East Africa. You was a original Muslim, original Hebrew Israelite, original Egyptian, original Ethiopian. That's who you really was. All of them. Because it's a long, it's close but still long. So a brother in Kemet, he close to a brother in Israel, but of course they're gonna have a little different ideology. A brother in Kemet, he gonna be close to a brother right there in Libya, stuff like that. But they're gonna have a little different, you know what I'm saying? But they all from the same situation. And all of those schools were pieces that we took as we spread out. That's why none of those schools is solid, because they all is a piece of one school. That's a fact. If you really look at Hebrew Israelite and you really look at Islam and you fit that together, you begin to get the whole pie. So when they say it's this or that, and they be arguing between their religions, they be wrong, because all of them really is in one thing. So really nobody's wrong, because everybody's taking a piece of that one thing. And so the one thing was righteousness. So no matter what you picked out that one thing, you're still dealing with righteousness. That's a fact. Islam, Judaism, and Christianity is from one pie. They just different land masses where they altered the knowledge. That's it. They altered the knowledge, because he living up here, he's saying that. He living over there, he's saying that. He living right there, he's saying that. But all that stuff is one. All that stuff is one. That's a fact. No, you don't, and that's a good point, because now once you come over here, right, now you also mix with other people. So you could have anything depending on who the family mixed with, right? So you could have, because like me, I got East African and I got Native American, because that's based on who happened to marry who, Queen. So whoever happened to marry who, or whichever person slept with the other person, then that's going to get passed down. But for sure, there's going to be continental African in all of us. But Queen, they don't have all the DNA, so the DNA test be false. So you could get a DNA test and it say no, but the DNA test is fake, Queen, because it would take like hundreds of thousands of the DNA samples, and they don't got them. So when they test you, Queen, they just make stuff up. None of them DNA tests is right. Because they don't have they would have to have the DNA of every person, every different tribe and group on the planet. And they don't have that. So when they test your DNA, it's going to come up inconclusive because they don't even got everything. For example, let's say you got a great grand person in your family that was from a certain part of Africa and they don't have that particular DNA, it ain't going to show up because they don't even got all the DNA in Africa. Hey, the DNA has been a scam, Queen. That's coming out now that they can't do your DNA because scientists and experts are saying unless they got every sample of DNA on this planet, then nobody's DNA is going to be conclusive. Let that sink in. Tell me that's deep, ain't it? Nobody DNA. So even if I got a certain DNA, if they don't got it, it ain't going to show up. On my soul, if I got like a certain DNA from like somewhere in Central Africa and they don't have that tribe DNA, it ain't going to show up. They're going to just make up something. So we don't know who we are, Queen. The DNA test is false. Tell me that's not deep. Tell me that's not deep. They don't even know. And then your more recent, nope, because your more recent DNA going to show up, but that ain't got nothing to do with the other DNA. So what shows up don't mean nothing, right? I give you a perfect example. You and your mama have sex, you be born, you look just like your daddy. You don't look nothing like your mama. That don't mean you ain't got your mama DNA. You see what I'm saying? So your head don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing. That just means that's how you turned out. But everybody in your family ain't got that head and you got their DNA. Yeah. And maybe I'll do a live on that because then we got to talk about reincarnation, right? And so whatever soul from the family decide to get in that particular baby, you're going to begin to look like that. That's a whole, Mr. Redskin, I might have to talk about that separately. So now once you was conceived, an ancient soul got to come into that body. Now, whatever that ancient soul is, as that baby grow, that baby going to look like mama and daddy, but that baby is also going to have the formation from that ancient soul. Because you didn't just get here, you reincarnated. So you could be anybody from the family. That's why they be having a baby. Hey, Mr. Reds can't be having a baby. That baby look just like her auntie. That's who it is. It is auntie. Because you never leave here. Because when somebody pass away, the soul magnetizes to the DNA. So if somebody pass away, right? If somebody pass away, the first baby born in the family, that soul gonna magnetize to that DNA. That's how that works. Because you never leave here. You've been here. Yeah, we had a euthanagenesis as FBA. We sure did. But soon as you have a baby, so Queen, soon as your mama had you, whoever passed away, that DNA came right to the baby, right to you. So you somebody that been here. You ain't just get here. So that's separate from the DNA. Now we talking the soul. So not only do you got a lot of different DNA, you have a soul from a relative. You are somebody that been here. Like nobody just got here. Nobody just got here. The same amount of people here that been here. They just keep reincarnating. That's a fact. Check it out. If it get bagged up, right? Check it out. If it get bagged up, somebody have twins or triplets. Is the ethnogenesis why Africans say American diaspora not disconnected from Africa? When they say we not disconnected from Africa, they have to understand that a connection to Africa is going to have to be somewhat dominant. And what a lot of Africans don't understand is we don't know Africans. We don't know you. So a lot of Africans trying to do like some make-believe African stuff, but we've been over here too long. And we've been over here on our own. And it ain't been no Africans over here to help us. And then once I get, you can't connect me to Africa and disconnect me from Native Americans, and that's the problem with Africans. They trying to connect me and say I'm an African, but what about my great-grandmama's a Sioux? So if I got a great-grandmama that's a Sioux or Eskimo, and I got a great-great-grandpa that's an African, how you going to say I'm an African? Because if I'm connected to the African and I'm connected to the Sioux, I'm not neither one of y'all. Am I correct? I'm not neither. But what the Africans want to do is say that we disconnected from all our other DNA and connected to them just because we got their DNA. It don't work like that. If we connected to the African DNA, we also connected to all the other DNA, which makes us not African. Am I correct? See what I'm saying, bro? This is what the Africans don't understand. The Africans trying to take the African DNA and act like it's the only DNA. But that's not our only DNA. So the Africans say, I can't disconnect from the African DNA. Well, my question is, can I disconnect from the Native American DNA? No. So if I'm totally connected to African DNA and totally connected to Native American DNA, I'm a new human. I'm not neither one of y'all. And that's the problem, what the Africans don't understand. What the Africans don't understand is new people could be made. We are a brand new people. We new. We are a new people. When you get a bunch of connected DNA from a lot of people, you become a new person. You don't become one of those specific parts of DNA. We got white people DNA. My parents' last name was Stewart, correct? Stewart is Irish. White men was getting our women pregnant. So if I got white DNA and I got DNA from Africa, how can I be African? Now the African's gonna say the white man got African DNA. They get to talking silly. The white man ain't no African no more, bro. He a white man now. He's a whole new DNA. But Africans trying to teach a false philosophy that they DNA dominate all other DNA. It don't work like that. There's nothing where they could prove that African DNA dominate. Look at Vic Mensa. His daddy Ghanaian, his mama white. He light-skinned and he mixed. He is not no African. He is a new being. But he trying to say he just his daddy DNA. No, bruh. No. If I get one kind of horse, exact. If I get one kind of horse and they get a different type of horse pregnant, is that baby horse either one of them? No. I had some Great Danes mixed with Doberman. Were them dogs Great Danes? No. Were them dogs Doberman? No. I rest my case. No, that African DNA shit is bullshit. Now somebody put up 20 grand and give me your top scientists. Because one thing about me, scientists can't beat common sense. I'm the common sense professor. I shut scientists down. Because at the end of the day, you got to have common sense. Yeah, all that's fake because they don't got all the DNA samples, Kathy. And so what they'll do if you come close and they can't figure what you is, they just throw you in the category. Look it up. All that stuff they told y'all DNA, throw that stuff in the garbage. It's all wrong. A new study just came out. It's all wrong. That they cannot do our DNA because they don't have all the samples. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying? Okay, let's say there's been 10 million different people on the planet, kind of people. If they don't have 10 million different DNAs, they cannot tell you your DNA. And they do not have all the DNA. Listen, this is what they said in the story. They do not have hardly none of the African DNA. Like all the different tribes in Africa, they do not have DNA samples of that. Listen, they said, this is what scientists said. Scientists have said that there's so many tribes in Africa, they do not have their DNA. So that the DNA cannot be done properly because if you come from one of them tribes, they can't find it because they don't have the DNA sample to match it. See, when you get your DNA, they got to match it with a DNA. They don't got all the DNAs to match it. Everybody's DNA is fake. The only thing you know you come from is your mommy and your daddy. That's it. Other than that, it's all fake. So they saying that when they test that one part of the DNA and they can't find where it go, they just drop it anywhere. I said, y'all look it up. These are new findings. They say when they test our DNA and all that different DNA, because you got a lot of different DNA, and they say when they have certain DNA from you and they can't find where it go, they just drop it anywhere. I said, is you kid? Yeah. They just dropped that part of your DNA anywhere because they can't find, they ain't got the match. That's why I never paid for that. I always knew they can't, they lying. My daughter went and did it. It said she was Egyptian and Ethiopian and something. But they probably found some of that DNA, but they didn't give her whole DNA. They don't got everybody's DNA. Now you tell me that ain't a scam. The real scientists say they can't do DNA unless they got all the DNA on the planet stored. And they don't got all the DNA on the planet stored because there's people that ain't gave them no DNA samples. They don't got DNA. You know what I'm saying? They don't got the DNA samples. Facts. So all DNA samples is inconclusive. That's facts. I'm an American. You don't know what American is. You slow. An American is your country. Like a Nigerian is a Nigerian. An Italian is an Italian. And if you live in America, you're an American citizen, so you're an American. Now you need better schools wherever you come from. Your schools wasn't efficient because you don't know what American is. American is citizenship. What is you slow? Like you can't be no Nigerian. You're just a Nigerian because you live in Nigeria. But the white man named Nigeria. So technically you're not really a Nigerian. Go study, bro. Yeah, you are not Africans. There's no such thing as Africans. There's no such thing as Africans. So how am I gonna be African? You ain't no African either. You ain't no African. You whatever tribe you from, but there's no such thing as African. African, a white man named it African. How you gonna be what a white man made up? Make it make no sense. You're not African either. None of y'all is Africans. Nobody in Africa is African. You're slow, bro. None of y'all in Africa is African. Look at this, bro. Read and learn. You're over here with Big Pharaoh, smartest person you ever seen in your life. Look, what it say? Africa got its name started 146 BCE when the Roman Republic used the term for a specific North African province. So the Romans named y'all Africans. So, bruh, you not no African because no Roman said you are African? Checkmate. You ain't an African either, bro. Your people was here before the Romans, right? Your people was in that land before the Romans, right? Real talk. Give me a thumbs up if I'm telling the truth. Black people in Africa ain't no Africans. Africa not African. That's the Romans named y'all Africans. You're not no African. Your ancestors go back before the Romans named it. Am I correct? Don't your people go back further than the Romans? Well, how you something the Romans made up? So you talking about I'm not no African? You ain't no African, bro. Africa is not a real name. All right? You're over here with Big Pharaoh, all right? Yeah, you're over here with Big Pharaoh. Yeah. Thank me later, player. Player. Step your game up, okay? Player. You gotta step your game up, player. Player. You gotta step your game up, right? You gotta step your game up, bro. Now you keep watching Big Pharaoh, and you're gonna be the man back in your land. You know, just keep watching me, boy. You're gonna be in fire. You're gonna be on fire. You feel me? You're gonna be on fire. You understand? You just keep watching Big Pharaoh, bro. No, it don't count. The Romans civilized you. Okay, you lost. I can't help you. Yeah, you lost. The Romans civilized you. The name of y'all country is Alkebulan, bro. And this one was the name of y'all. But you said the white man civilized you. I see. I see. I see. All right. All right. The white man civilized you. All right. All right. The Romans civilized you. All right. So y'all was just uncivilized. The white man civilized you, right? And now you trying to talk to Big Pharaoh. Okay. All right. I can't do nothing with you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I can't do nothing with you. You know what I mean? I can't do nothing with you, bro. I can't do nothing with nobody that degrade their own self. The fact you degrade your own self, hey, Africans, come get your boy. Come get your boy. But listen, I'll unblock you later. But right now, you got to go sit in the corner with the slow kids, okay? I'm unblock you later. But for now, you got to go sit over there with the slow kids, okay? And tomorrow, you come to school, you behave yourself, I'll unblock you. You could come back to class, okay? Maybe some Romans will teach you why you over there on time out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you go watch some Romans, your boys, you know what I'm saying? He said the Romans civilized them and they civilized the Romans. Can you believe that? Can you believe he said the Romans civilized them and Imhotep is the father of medicine? That the Romans is behind the Greeks, and the Greeks came to Africa to learn. The Romans learned from the Greeks learned from the black people. He said that the Greeks learned from the black people, the Romans learned from the Greeks, and then the Romans civilized him from his knowledge. He don't know nothing about Timbuktu. He don't know nothing about ancient Kemet. He don't know nothing about ancient Kush or nothing. He said the Romans civilized it. What a disgrace. Well, let me tell you something. It's obvious. It's obvious you learned from the Romans. it's definitely, I could tell. I could tell the Romans taught you everything. I could tell. It shows. It shows. I could tell. You know what I'm saying? Here go the thing. Here go the thing, Queen. It's crazy for people to think that where there's hot sun, it wasn't brown people. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's crazy to think that down there, hot ass South America, it wasn't no brown people. It's crazy, ain't it, Queen? That it was only brown people in Africa. That it wasn't no brown people in Arizona. Hey, Queen, as hot as it get in Texas, New Orleans, Arizona, it's crazy to think that it wasn't no brown people wherever it's hot at. That's why it's silly, ain't it, Queen? Because it's crazy to think that it wasn't brown people wherever it's hot at. The problem I got with the black people that was here, the problem I got with them saying they just black Americans or they only been here, the problem I got with that, Queen, is, how do I say this? As a black man, we was going up in anybody. So to think that I wouldn't have came over here and knocked you back and put a baby in you, you're kind of overdoing it, right? Because everybody been humping with everybody. So that's my problem with the people that say, no, I'm just a pure over here. You telling me ain't no Africans or no great kings came over here and had sex with you? I don't believe that part. I don't believe that no coochie over here didn't get knocked in by some penis from somewhere else. I don't believe that's overdoing it. You know what I'm saying? Because I know if I came over here from Africa and I seen your great grandmama and she was cute, I know I would have knocked it back and you wouldn't have been pure. Because Pharaoh would have been up in the great grandmama. So that's my problem with it because everybody then been sleeping with everybody. And so people be like, no, everybody ain't been sleeping with everybody. They a little crazy. No, nobody slept with none of the women in our thing. We just been this. And ain't nobody hit none of this coochie. This is American coochie. Always just been in America. And ain't no Brazilian been up in it. Ain't no Congolese been up in it. Ain't no Egyptian been in it. That's a little too, that's not realistic. You know what I'm saying? That's the part I don't agree with. Because people was sailing and people was traveling and people was having sex. So when people deny sex between different people, that's where it get a little crazy, Queen. That's why when they be saying, no, I ain't got no African DNA and all that get crazy. Because you don't know who slept with who. You know what I mean? So that's the part where they be tripping at. Because, I mean, we don't know who been sleeping with who. Black people been sailing over here. Because here's another thing, Queen, what they don't know. A lot of black people is coming over here. Let me see if I can find them globe. Let me see. Watch this. This is what a lot of people don't know, Queen, too. This is one thing that people forget. One thing people forget, Queen, and this is deep. It's one thing they forget. One thing they be forgetting. When y'all look at this, real talk. Let me find a good one. Well, any of them show what I'm saying. One thing they forget, Queen, is that the shortest distance of traveling, Queen, right? When men was traveling, the shortest distance was from West Africa to that tip in South America. That's what? Brazil. Brazil. The shortest distance, right, for traveling and sailing in ancient times was West Africa to Brazil. And as a fact, look at it, y'all. It's the closest. And check this out. There's some white dudes that took a boat with some sails and they left West Africa with just sails and they caught a current and the current took them all the way to Brazil. There's a current from West Africa to Brazil. As a matter of fact, the hurricanes follow that path. And so you see all them black people in Brazil? See, this is where they be tripping, Queen, because definitely people was coming from Africa to Brazil. Ain't no way they wasn't. Ain't no way. It's impossible for people had not to travel from Africa to Brazil. Impossible. That's going to be one of the first routes. and it's got a natural uh, current that go right from there to there. So some of that, it gets a little ridiculous because, all they got to do is look at the map and you'll see, look where Africa is and look where South America's at. Look how far it is from West Africa to North America. And look how short the distance is from West Africa to Brazil. Now you telling me that people from Africa wasn't going to Brazil? Come on, that don't even make sense. Brazil was the first place they traveled to. If you look at that, right there, bang, bang. And look how many black people in Africa, and look how many black people in Brazil. Before the Spanish came. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Look before the Spanish came. Look who was there. Look. 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 Them the same people. Unless I'm crazy. Look. Let me show you somebody else they be hiding. Look at the black Mexicans. Look at the black Mexicans. The Afro-Mexicans. See? So when people be like, I got this blood, I got that blood, I got this blood. We been around the world and now, yeah. We got a lot of blood. Okay? So that particular argument has nothing to do with foundational black Americans. Foundational black Americans, for all y'all want to know, foundational black Americans only deals with from the Revolutionary War to now. That's all it is. Always remember that. Do not let the foundational black American conversation get into DNA. It has nothing to do with DNA. It has something to do with the black people that was here from the Revolutionary War. You're going to get your reparations based on the census. If they find you in the census back to the 1800s, you get reparations. And Queen, a lot of people are overlooking reparations and overlooking that FBA is designed specifically for reparations. Foundational Black American is not designed for ancient lineage. Foundational Black American is for American lineage for reparations. And what has happened is people have took foundational Black Americans away from reparations. The whole concept of foundational Black Americans is born out of reparations in modern times from American descendants of slaves with Yvette Carnell. on the internet. So in the internet times, Yvette Carnell, they began to push American descendants of slaves. A lot of us didn't like being called descendants of slaves, so we preferred foundational Black American. But all of that was built out of reparations and proven that we was the ones here from the Revolutionary War to now. Some people taking that and they're going all into DNA and all of that. And your DNA ain't got nothing to do with picking cotton. And that's what people is getting lost at. Your DNA ain't got nothing to do with it. That don't got nothing to do with nothing. And people is taking that and just making a mess, to be honest with you. Because a lot of people, a lot of different kind of people pick that cotton. A lot of different type of people pick that cotton. And that's an absolute fact. So they taking that and really kind of messing up things, kind of adding a bunch of stuff to it that is confusing the younger generation. You see what I'm saying? Ain't got nothing to do with reparations. Because my mother's grandmother, my great grandmother, Sue, but she picked that cotton. She's Sue. Her husband is a Black descendant. Maybe African, maybe South American, but he's Black man. She's a Native American. My mother is that Black man and Native American, and he might be African descendant and Native American. She's Sioux. On my father's side, right? On my father's side, they definitely African. No ifs, ands, or buts, African, but they also got white, because there was a white man in there in my father's family and stuff too, because he used to talk about them. But this my father's father. So when you mix my mother and all the different people she was, and you mix my father and all the different people he was, and you get to me, it's irrelevant what all their DNA was and what all their DNA was. What is relevant is we the ones built the country. Give me my money. Give me my money, because that's what it's about. All you got to do is prove, all I'm proving is I was the one here that did the work. And that's reparations. Now, there's all different type of DNA. This is my mother's side, my mother's grandmother, my great-grandmother. This is my grandfather. I've got pictures of his father too somewhere. And this is what reparations is about. Now, once we delineated, delineation was strictly for reparations. Now, people then took delineation and mixed it with lineage. And delineation don't have nothing to do with long-term lineage. Delineation is us separating ourselves to show that we was the ones that was here that did not get paid for our labor. We are trying to get our reparations. So when they start coming with lineage, that really don't have nothing to do with delineating, because lineage is going to go back before slavery, and anything before slavery ain't got nothing to do with reparations. So this where it gets confusing and people is messing up the reparations movement, right? They ruining it because they taking stuff out of context and they trying to trace their lineage back before slavery, which doesn't matter. The only thing matters is, was your people here doing slavery. That's all that matters. And if they was here doing slavery and they wasn't white, they was mistreated. And they was picking that cotton. So that's what we own. This is what the Africans don't understand. The Africans is trying to mix it all up. People is trying to bring everything into it. The Africans cannot talk to us about our situation from the Revolutionary War to now. That's a conversation that ain't none of their business at all. Africans is foul for even speaking on that in any kind of way. Because it ain't got nothing to do with nothing past this era right here. And if you could prove we was the ones out there fighting that Revolutionary War, case closed. It don't matter if he was from Africa. What that got to do with his reparations. Don't matter if he Brazilian. It don't matter if he Native American. That don't matter. He was a black man that was discriminated against. When they discriminated against you, they did not ask you what kind of nigger you was. Okay? A nigger was a nigger. All that, oh, I'm a Native American nigger. I was a special nigger. Okay. No, not to white people. You know what I'm saying? They ain't give my mama no break because she was lighter one or my no. No, I didn't go nothing like that. One drop of blood, you the N-word. Period. And you didn't get paid and you got mistreated. It don't matter when it comes to reparations. That's my point. It don't matter. All that indigenous America don't work. That don't got nothing to do with reparations. That's the part I don't like. That's the part I don't like, Queen. They throwing that in there. To me, that's destructive. That's destructive towards reparations. There's people that's not pushing for reparations. They arguing for titles. I don't like that part, Queen. That to me is a distraction. To me. Because you're not going to get reparations based on what they called you. You're getting reparations for doing free labor. So all that part is getting silly. To me, all of that is ruining the reparations movement, to me. Because it's irrelevant information. It's people overdoing it, but not sticking with the basics. They trying to argue over what they was called. Hey, if you pick cotton and you work for free, what that got to do with what you was called? If you come to my job right now, Queen, and you work for me, and I don't pay you, and I owe you money, does it make a difference on what you call yourself if I didn't pay you? Yes or no? This is what people don't understand. We fighting for our pay we didn't get. We not fighting for what you want to call yourself. Let's get our money, and then you go call yourself whatever the hell you want to call yourself. But don't mix that with reparation, unnecessary debates that have nothing to do with who owes us money. That's where it's getting silly at. That's where it's ridiculous. That is ruining the push for reparation because it's got nothing to do with nothing. It don't got. My mama was one kind of mix. My daddy was another kind of mix, and neither one of them could get on the bus. They didn't look at my mama and say, "Oh, you lighter than Randolph, you can get on the bus." No. Nobody could get on the bus. Nobody could use the restrooms. Nobody could go to school. So what difference does it make over what type of brown person you calling yourself? That's the part, to me, it's like COINTELPRO and like people coming in there muddy in the water, to me. Because they'll say that over and over again, but are they fighting for reparations? No, they fighting over what they was and what their mama was and all of that. That right there, I don't like that. To me, those are distractions, and those are people that's really not trying to get reparations. They own something else. They own some, you know, what somebody gonna call them individually. You know what I'm saying? A reparation is a group thing. So whatever somebody call me individually, what the hell that got to do with us getting our reparations? Nothing. To me, those is like unnecessary, petty discussions. To me, the only thing matters is that they owe me my reparations. Whatever I used to be, that don't even matter to me. That has nothing to do with my future. That has nothing to do with economics for my family. That have nothing to do with the money they cheated me out of. I'm trying to get the money that they cheated me out of. I ain't trying to. I ain't trying to. I ain't fighting for identity. I'm fighting for my money. I'm fighting for the way they mistreated these people. I don't give a damn what they was. You know what I'm saying? I don't care now. I'm not going to argue about what they was. Imagine your relatives getting unalived and all that, and instead of fighting for that, you arguing about what they was. I mean, okay, petty distractions, right? Petty distraction. So now here's the Europeans owe us. Here's us. Instead of us getting at them for our reparations, we over here. But I was this, but I was that, but I was this, but I was that. And they over there not paying us. They not paying us. Make that make some sense. Yeah, I'm just saying. What kind of sense that make? And we arguing over what somebody called us. And that's what we always drop the ball. Always. We always drop the ball for nonsense. I'm gonna keep it real. Always. We can't stay focused for nothing. To me, we just can't stay focused. We always come up with some offshoot, something to, we basically always shoot ourselves in the foot. Always. We always shoot ourselves in the foot. Always. Every time we try to get something, we start something that ain't got nothing to do with it. Every time. Every time. But at the end of the day, while we fighting over what type of brown or black person we was, what did the sign say? The sign said whites only. And see, this is what we need, okay? Whatever kind of black person you trying to say you is, you couldn't go in this establishment. That's where we lose it at. Because whatever you say you was, it did not say no Africans. It didn't say no Native Americans. The sign said whites only. And if your family wasn't white, you owed reparations. Now, whatever they was is irrelevant. The sign didn't say any relevance to what we are. That's why they made it say that. Because they're like, we don't give a damn what you is. You cannot come in here and eat. Reparations that's tied to a specific lineage. No, reparations are tied to whoever was black during this time. When they saying all that specific lineage, that's confusing. That terminology is basically almost like COINTELPRO. Period. Okay, what lineage couldn't go in there and eat? Anybody black. Okay, what was their lineage? Don't nobody know. Lineage, well, we was talking a different lineage. We're talking about the lineage of everybody that was here at this time. We're not talking a DNA lineage. When we say lineage, we mean the lineage of everybody that was brown at that time, not a DNA lineage, a discrimination lineage. People trying to turn it into a DNA lineage. No. We're saying the lineage of people that was discriminated to, a discrimination lineage, not a DNA lineage. That is incorrect. We're talking about discrimination lineage. Who was the ones? What do your lineage trace back to? Discrimination, not DNA. That's a different lineage. Lineage is not just DNA. Girl Scouts is a lineage. Who was a Girl Scout? Let's trace the lineage of Girl Scouts. That got nothing to do with DNA. People are taking the word lineage and really don't know what lineage means, because lineage does not necessarily mean DNA. There's a lineage of railroad workers. There's a lineage of truck drivers. There's a lot of different types of lineage. And the lineage we're dealing with is the lineage of who got discriminated. So when you start saying, I was this and I was that, that's irrelevant and a distraction and really detrimental to reparations, because now you off code. You talking about something that don't make no sense, and that's irrelevant. The end of the day, was your relatives discriminated against? That's it. And if they was discriminated against, that's all we need to know. We don't give a damn what their bloodline was. Wasn't nobody checking no bloodline. They said you just can't come in here and eat. Okay, so in other words, you want to mix tribal gene, you want to mix all of that with reparations. And I'm saying no. Don't mix that with reparations. Find out who's talking about that and take that over there. When you come over here, I'm talking about reparations, period. I'm not talking about none of that. Because that's not the fight. That's not the fight. That's not the fight. That's a personal fight. That's an individual. That's not the fight for reparations. That's not. That's a distraction and detrimental to the reparations because that's divisive and that's splitting up the reparations movement into a bunch of weirdo stuff. Oh, but we talking about this, and oh, we talking about that, and all this, and then deeds, and then this. No, we talking about reparation for unpaid work, period. That's it. If you ain't talking about getting paid for getting our money as a group, for not getting paid as a group of brown people, then you're an enemy. Period. That's a distraction. Totally. That's drawing a bunch of stuff that's going to make sure we ain't going to get nothing like that. We ain't going to get nothing with that. Nothing. This is what we talking about. Hold on. We want our money from these companies. If you ain't on that, you are not standing with FBA. You are not standing for reparation. You own some individual stuff and you off code. We want our money from these people that we work for. That's what we want, our money from these people. All that other stuff, no. These are the people that robbed us. See the Africans, they trying to distract us. See those names? That's what it is. The Africans ain't got our money. So now when we start talking to people that don't want to pressure these companies to get our money, them is distractions. And this is where our problem always is. We cannot stay focused. We cannot stay on code. We be doing too much. And we like, this is what we like. This is reparations. The arrow, boom. People come and make this reparations. This they reparations, so it don't stick. Yeah, instead of straight, it's a point. We want our reparations for unpaid wages from this point to this point. Quick, easy, straight, less push. People get in it. Oh, are we from the moon? They throw all this shit in there. So then it'd be a bunch of nonsense. And them companies I just showed, they get away scot-free. Because now you get to talking about a bunch of bozo nonsense. And the companies that rob us, they get away scot-free. Because people start coming from Africa, want to argue with us. People don't want to start saying, I'm this, I'm a boo-boo-da-doo-doo, and I was a cheeky galito, and I was a bobby-bo-doo-doo. They ain't got nothing to do with free labor and getting paid. Nothing. Ain't got nothing to do with it. Go find out If your family was here and did free labor, and that's all we need to know. We don't need to know who the fuck they was. What we need to know is, did they work for free? Period. If my granddaddy worked for free and you didn't pay him, you cannot ask me, well, what was my granddaddy? That is irrelevant. Y'all did not pay him. What he was, what that got to do with y'all not paying my granddad? And this is what people understand. Y'all ain't taking it personal enough. They robbed your relatives. Period. I don't care what they was. They got robbed. Period. That's what we're dealing with. The robbery of our ancestors. We don't give a damn what they was. They was all different kind of stuff. But they was not white. So you are owed reparations. Now, no, oh, mine was a Comanche and mine was a black, all that. I can't do all that. That's a distraction. All that's a distraction. And I was going to Alabama in the 60s. And them black people in Alabama was all different types of shades. All different types of shades. They had Native American blood. They had African blood. They had all, who knows? Some of them had white blood. But when the white man used to sleep with the black woman and she had a baby, he put that baby in the field. And if that's your granddaddy, you owe yes. Even if you got white blood, they took the baby by the black woman and made slaves out of them and sold them into slavery. Period. So you don't even got to have all black blood to be owed reparations. That's a fact. Look it up. So you arguing how black you was and all that. If they slept with your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmama, if the white man slept with her and had a baby, he put that baby in the field with your great-great-great-great-great-grandmama, and they also sold them babies. Yes. Sold their own offspring because they said if you got one drop of blood, you were N-word. Period. So what you look like arguing what your blood type was like and all that. Boy, if your ass was black, you was an N-word. Now, my people go back to the Kachachawa. Yeah, your people was some Kachachawa N-words. Oh, the Maso. They wasn't no Kachachawa to them white people, and they didn't pay them. Yeah, they didn't pay your Kachachawa mama or your Kalukada daddy. If he was black, he didn't get paid. So we talking about getting the bag, getting paid, or we going to argue over who didn't get paid? Because that's what their argument. Black folks want to argue which nigga didn't get paid. Well, my daddy was this kind of nigga. My people was this kind of nigga that get paid. And yours was this kind of person that didn't get paid. You always leave that part out. I always say that part. If you want to say your great-great-great-grandparents were Kachukala, make sure you say they was Kachukala that didn't get paid. Did your Kachukala people get paid? No. Okay, let's move on. Because they did not get paid. And they robbed them. You know what I'm saying? Oh my soul. Period. You know, that's fine. You know who they was. But that's not this fight. This fight is for reparations. This is why people try to take tethers and all of that, right? They try to take all that to distract us. See, there's distractions. That's why you hear the word tether more than you hear the word reparations. Y'all ain't noticed that? You don't hear this word. You hear tethers. You hear that? You hear FBA, and tethers. You don't hear the word we want to hear. Reparations. See, I don't want no FBA. I'm not fighting for no FBA. What is FBA? I'm not fighting for tethers. I'm fighting for reparations. And the reparations word is lost. Y'all don't notice that? The reparations. We want reparations lost. I mean, lost in the sauce. You don't hear it nowhere. But over here, Tariq push it, but he over there fighting tethers for us. All right. If he fighting the tethers that's attacking him, that means the rest of us should back up and push for reparations and let him do that fight and us stick with reparations. He don't need all of us to fight the tethers. Let him do it. The reason Tariq is fighting the tethers because they're attacking him because they saying he the leader of FBA. So y'all don't be really understanding what Tariq is going through. He fighting the tethers for a good reason because he's specifically under attack because they want to say he the leader. So if your leader is under attack, then he's got to fight off the attackers. Then what we're supposed to do is push the movement while he's fighting off the attackers. Let him fight off the tethers and we push reparations so it stay pushed. But if all of us start fighting the tethers, who gonna push reparations? That's not how military works. A military got an Air Force, a Navy, an Army, a Marines, a Coast Guard. No, we just all want to be the Army. Let him fight that fight. If you want to help him push reparations, he don't need no help with the tethers. He got that. We can help him by pushing reparations. Y'all push reparations. We want our money, period. If it wasn't for reparations and what they owe me, I wouldn't be wasting my time. I wouldn't be wasting my time. I'll let you love your children and grandchildren, but you're going to pass that debt down to them? The debt been passed down, passed down, passed down. That's understandable because we didn't have social media. We the first group to get social media. If we don't get reparations, all y'all alive right now are total failures. See what I'm saying? What that got to do with what I'm talking about? See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? What that got to do with the cost? You see what I'm saying? Distraction. Show you right there. I'm telling everybody, push for reparations, push for reparations. He asking me some old goofy shit. I don't know, nigga, figure it out. What you can't think? Answer your own damn question. Okay, well, I don't understand what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? I don't see the word reparations in this anywhere. Y'all see the word reparations? I'm just supposed to know what he said? Why the Arab that won the race in Detroit spoke on black folks having problems with Arab? Y'all see the word reparations in this statement? Now he said, no, we brought up reparations to the... Okay, show me where you said that right here. How I'm supposed to know that mean this? See, I don't got time. I don't got time, bro. I'm supposed to know that's what that meant? See what I'm saying? How I'm supposed to know what that meant? Say what you mean and mean what you say. Then boom, hey, an Arab said so-and-so against reparations. All right, now, but just some words. I don't see the word reparation. You asked me about some Arab at a race. What the hell? I'm supposed to know what that means? I'm supposed to stop saying what I'm saying to decipher some shit? That's what I'm talking about. Like, we got to step our game up, bruh. We sloppy and all over the place. And like I was saying, if I was read that, we the first generation that could make it happen. It used to be a time if you couldn't get your movement on TV and radio, you couldn't make nothing happen. But now we got the internet. We are the first group that can go viral. We are the first one that could push our movement out all over the globe. You've never had this opportunity. Never. And so, foundational Black Americans, now you got to use that power. You notice, listen, you notice when we start pushing reparations, you see that 154 Africa, you see Godfrey Flip, you see all of the agents start making distractions to get us from pushing reparations to start arguing with them. I know you see it, like some COINTELPRO. All of the blacks that ain't foundational Black Americans, that ain't gonna get reparations, they start making up fake beefs to distract us. Like, no, don't keep paying attention to reparations. Look over here, I'm hating on you. That's what's going on. Y'all don't see that? Y'all don't see that people trying to stop us from pushing reparations, which we push into white America. Y'all don't see Black immigrants and stuff trying to distract us that ain't got our money. And that's what I got to say to Godfrey and the 154. Be glad y'all don't got our money, though. That's why I got to say to all you Africans and all you other blacks, listen, you running your mouth just between us and the Europeans and these big businesses. But be glad you don't got our money, because we might not go to try to get it the way we try to get it from them. You know, you Africans, shut up, because y'all the ones sold Black people into slavery. So we don't want to hear from you right now. We don't want to hear from you. Your lineage is selling your own people, okay? Our lineage is foundational Black American. West Africans' lineage is selling their own people into slavery. So be quiet. Talk about selling people. 154, talk about slavery from West Africa. Godfrey, you've been cosplaying Black Americans the whole time. But one thing is, once they find out they not going to get reparations, they like to hell with y'all. Ain't nothing in it for them. And then as soon as you get reparations, now Godfrey want to do a bunch of shows. Hopefully we'll come spend some of the money with him. But he ain't going to help us get the money. But and when we get a lot of these people that ain't going to help us get the money, the Umars and all them, they're going to be the first ones begging for money when we get it. Fact. And don't give them shit. Take that money, invest in your home, get your equity up in your home, get comfortable, get some interest off your money, and live a good life. Look out for your foundational Black American family, and everybody else to hell with them. If it ain't a necessity, don't buy it. But we got to make these people pay us, because I'm going to tell you, if foundational Black Americans, if you don't make them people give you reparations, you're done. You ain't, listen, all that arguing with them Africans and all that don't matter. If you don't stand on reparations, nobody in the world will respect us. We will be considered losers, failures, worldwide. Facts. If we drop that ball and we don't push hard for reparations, that's it. Your reputation is ruined in the world. That's a fact. That's what they're hoping for, because we already advanced. The Black diaspora already dislike us. So imagine if we get reparations, how much more hate They don't want to see our success. Come on. Africa does not want to see our success. Nowhere in Africa. Africa has failed us, and Africa does not like us. Africa have not sent us one smidget of gold or no natural resource they got. Africa does not like foundational Black Americans. They don't. Caribbean, they don't like foundational Black Americans. When you look at the fight for reparations, we are on our own. We got more white people want us to get it than Black people. We are on our own. And so when you see these Black people talking, hit them hard, like, what's up with our reparations? If you ain't talking about our reparations, shut up and get out of our circle. See, we got to kick people out of our circle. We can't let them keep commenting when we having our private meetings. We're going to have to make our YouTube conversation stuff private. I know people look at me and say, you be blocking people because this is a private conversation. Why would I have a conversation push for reparation and let a bozo come over here and talk against it? That's counterproductive. Right? So if you ain't with it, block. Because you a distraction. We over here trying to motivate each other, and you come over here trying to get us distracted to argue with you. Well, I'm from Chicago. I don't like that because you're doing something on the internet that you know you can't do outside in real life. In real life, if I'm standing with a circle and we talking about reparations, you cannot walk in that circle being against what we talking about. That don't happen outside. So don't get on this internet doing something you're not going to do outside. I see a lot of Africans on the internet saying stuff that they'll never say to a foundational Black America in no grocery store or nowhere outside. So if they're cowards and they disrespecting you because they can hide on the internet, block them. Block them. I gave y'all a break because it was the election and different stuff, and I seen y'all wasn't focused. But we back on 10,000 now with reparations. The vacation is over. That's why I ain't been pushing the website. That's why I ain't been pushing the T-shirts. That's why I ain't been pushing the reparations gear. Because I seen y'all wasn't there. Y'all, I wasn't going to waste I seen you was gone. You was distracted. You dropped the ball. You ain't been standing on it. And it's crazy because some people you looking at it like you standing on it for the money. And that's what me and you, we don't see eye to eye. Because I'm not just standing on it I'm standing on it for my granddaddy. And boy, I'm not like no little B word. Boy, there ain't nowhere in the world you're going to do my granddaddy bogus. And I know y'all did him wrong. And I'm going to let that slide. I don't care if he unalive or not. My granddaddy passed away when my daddy was a little boy. My daddy was young when he lost his daddy and his mama. But still, I got this picture of my daddy, and I remember Yvette Carnell talking about reparations, and this picture was like up on the dresser. And while she was talking, he kept staring at me. See how he looking? Real talk. So I'm listening to Yvette. This one with Ados was popping. And she talking, I'm looking over there, and he's staring at me. And she talking about we need to get our money from my aunt. So I look, he's staring. I'm saying, damn. You know what I'm saying? This picture got a lot to do with me moving because she talking about how they did this in the past. I'm looking at this picture. I'm looking how he dressed. I'm seeing he discriminated against. This picture's worth 1,000 words. I see, oh, granddaddy was still trying to keep his pride. He was still trying to dress nice. He had to get some pants wherever he could get it from. You could see that he couldn't really afford the newest clothes, but he still was trying to keep it together. And he was still trying to be a strong Black man under all that racism. We don't even talk to people like you. You irrelevant. Stay out our business. See what I'm saying? I'm not talking to him. Block, and we're going to do what we're going to do. You seen it live. You see, he try to come, try to tell me what somebody going to do for me. Like that's going to stop me from pushing what I want. I don't know you. Shut up talking to me. Go where you at. You understand? I just showed you live. Think I'm going to waste my time listening to somebody tell me what I'm going to get? Block. Stay out of our conversation. Period. Just like that. Get out of our conversation. So when that person came over there and said that, and I didn't even read it and block them, what you think they're thinking? Oh, he not playing though. He don't even want to hear what I'm talking about. See what I'm saying? He don't even want to hear what I'm talking about, because my thing like this, come outside and say that. Get off the internet. Mind your business. Don't worry about what we going to get. Because the day we let somebody else tell us what we going to get and what we ain't going to get, we damn sure ain't going to get it. Y'all people went against our odds. Your people went against everything. They told you weren't going to never be able to go to the bathroom too. So you don't be listening to nobody tell us what somebody going to do and what somebody ain't going to do. Your people never listen to that. Never. Our people stood up. This is them doing the bus boycott in Alabama. You think they listen to some goofy over here? Come on over here? No. They always told us what we ain't going to get. We're not listening to you, and you a coward. You're on the internet. Why am I listening to some coward on the internet? You're on the internet. I'm not listening to no internet coward trying to tell me nothing. Stay your ass on the internet hiding. If you really want to make a point, come outside. Now on the internet, black people walk to work for a year to get respect. For 1 year, black people walk to work for a year. For 1 year, they walk to work. To get respect. To be able to sit down on the bus. Now, y'all can't push for reparations. And this queen went to jail to be able to ride the bus. See, this is where we be letting our ancestors down. This woman said, I'm not getting out my seat. That was just as big as reparations now. Yeah. That was the same thing. People like, you can't do that. They ain't going to let you ride on the bus. Same thing. If she would have listened to them people, them is the same people telling us we ain't going to get reparations. The people tell her, they ain't going to never let you ride on that bus. They ain't going to never let you get on that bus. Same thing. And black men took them women to work, and guess who was on the bus? Nobody. Nobody was on the bus. This is a cold picture right here. This showing the black men taking the sisters to work. And what make this picture so cold is look across the street. Look across the street. Black people did black people get on that bus? Man, this is one of the coldest pictures in black history. Look at this picture. The brothers took the sisters to work they self. And look across the street. Look who broke the picket line. Nobody got on that damn bus. Nobody got on that bus. Nobody got on that bus. Nobody got on that bus. Not a one person got on that bus. I don't want to hear from no loser that ain't standing on nothing. You know, if you're a loser and you ain't standing on nothing, go to the loser page. You know what I'm saying? If you're a loser, go to the loser account and type. We don't do losers over here. You know what I'm saying? We don't acknowledge we're not doing losers. If you're a loser, go somewhere and lose. So as far as us like claiming Africa and Africans, man, we got too much blood in the soil. Nah, we ain't doing all of that. Africans have never done nothing for us. All of this Africa is the big brother and come to Africa. Why would we go to Africa for guidance and help when Africa never helped us all this time? The hell with Africa. What have Africa ever done for us? Have Africa sent us 20 cents? Why would we go to Africa and Africa ain't never did nothing for us? A whole continent. It's 1 billion blacks. We never got a quarter from Africa. Not a quarter. The continent of Africa is a disgrace. They can't even lead their own people in Africa. How they gonna be leaders for the diaspora? Black Africans are failures. Why would we depend on a bunch of black people that don't even stick together over there and let people take all their natural resources and they then ran all over the world? Africans want to leave Africa. Data from Afrobarometer and youth survey shows roughly 40 to 50% of Africans have considered immigrating from their home countries, with numbers climbing higher among young adults and college graduates. However, wanting to leave varies heavily by country, economic status, and personal circumstances, with many preferring to move within the continent rather than leaving Africa entirely. Key drivers for immigration: economic hardship, high youth unemployment, low wages, and poverty are the leading reason people consider moving. Why the hell would I go to Africa and Africa can't even take care of its own youth? Infrastructure and governance, widespread frustration with political corruption, poor healthcare system, and unreliable public services push individuals to look abroad. Safety and conflict, ongoing political instability, civil conflict, and localizing violence drive involuntary displacement and migration in specific regions. Now, Africans is running from Africa, 40 to 50% trying to get the hell out of there. Africans is ran all over the world. Why would I listen to some Africans that's failing in the continent? 1 billion black people can't accomplish nothing. Ain't got no continental army, ain't got no continental navy, ain't got no continental marines, ain't got no continental air force, just over there. The whole North Africa is ran by foreigners, taking all their gold, all their oil, everything. What can Africans do for us but come over here and leech and come over here and live off what's over here? Haitians, same thing. All of them, the same thing. None of them have provided nothing for us. They all come and eat off our plate. That's what they do. But when we was back here, how many Africans and how many black people came to Alabama and Mississippi in the 20s, in 1900s, and helped us? They left us here picking cotton. The Africans sold a lot of black people. We never got no aid and assistance. Name me one time Africa has helped us at all. Africa ain't sent us a coin. The West Africa ain't sent us no gold. They ain't sent us no chocolate. They ain't sent us nothing. All they do is beg for us to come over there and bring our money over there. So no, I'm not no African. How am I African when Africans don't treat me like an African? Well, I don't want to be no African in my mind if I ain't African in real life. According to Africa, I ain't no African. So leave it just like that. I don't want to be no African. So don't be trying to make me be an African to bring my money over there. Facts. This to the Africans. I'm not no African brother of yours. Period. I don't know you. You ain't never helped me. And it is what it is. And whatever happened over here, we as Foundation Black Americans, we'll get together and figure it out ourselves. We'll get out the hole ourselves. We don't need none of you black people to help us. We ain't going to never ask y'all for a quarter. We're going to unite and we're going to fight whatever happens. If it's natural disasters, we're going to figure it out. If it's poverty, we're going to figure it out. We're not going to ever depend on y'all. Ever. And we want you to stop depending on us. And we're going to be pushing not to send you a quarter. Don't send Africa nothing. Africa never sent you nothing. So when they talk about, oh, send money to the Caribbean, send money here, they never sent us a quarter. When I was back in LA in the 80s, black people sent how much money every time they get a hurricane, we send to Jamaica. What if Jamaica sent us? Jamaica ain't sent us a coconut. Facts. No other blacks have ever done nothing for us. They take from us, they imitate us, but they don't give us nothing. With a brother and a sister like that, hell, you don't need no family like that. What good is a family like that? Before we send money to any black country, we need to send it back and forth to these different states. If we're going to send some money, send it to some black people, some foundational black Americans in Mississippi, some foundational black Americans in Alabama, some foundational black Americans in New York struggling. That's what we got to start sending our money to our own people, period. From this state to that state, from this city to that city. That's what we need to start doing with our money. Looking out for our brothers and sisters that's right here. They got to fight with us. They got to eat with us. They got to sleep with us. Got to live with us right here. Make sure we straight. For many years, we've been making sure everybody's straight. I'm 68 years old. I know what I'm talking about. And I've been out here fighting for apartheid and all type of stuff. And you know what the thanks I got? Nothing. Africans, they never respect all the backing they got from us. We basically single-handedly help Africans. We, the reason Africans could come here and people from the Caribbean come here off our fight, off our back, okay? And get on buses and able, and no appreciation, none. None. And can't nobody tell me nothing. Boy, I'm born in 1958. My word is like God when it comes to that. I ain't no baby, okay? I've been out here since the 70s as an adult. 76, 86, 96, 2006, 2016, 2026, 60 years as an adult. I've been out here. Do the math. 76, 1976, 86, 96, 2006, 2016, 2026, 60 years. I had it wrong. 60 years. Make it make some sense. And they never done nothing for us. Never. As a matter of fact, we get the internet, they on there talking greasy. Disrespect. What have the Haitians ever did for Foundation of Black Americans? Okay. What have Jamaicans ever did for Foundation? You know how much money we sent them for Hurricane Katrina and all the different hurricanes? Man, Foundation of Black Americans sent Jamaicans a lot of money for Katrina. Facts. Millions. What of Jamaica? Did we get a thank you or anything from Jamaica? Do we got a plaque in Jamaica or anything showing our service to the Jamaican people? No. How much we done did for Africa? What we get? None. Who supported Winnie Mandela, Nelson Mandela? We did. What we got in return? Nothing. Oh, it's the year to retire. We went and spent all that money in Ghana. Name one thing Ghana ever did for us at all. Kenya, South Africa. Name one African country that gave us a breadcrumb. Our weight that we received. Because I know some Rastas going to say, His Majesty put some money in the bank. We don't got it. Where it's at? They'll never do nothing for us. And then you keep getting these Umar Johnsons and you keep getting these Pan-Africans that be panhandling Africa. And the whole time they be pushing Africa, they be making money off of pushing it. They be selling Pan-African books and Pan-African stuff. And they make a whole lot of money off of this fake black unity. And every time they push fake black unity, they push it at us. Global black unity is a fraud. Y'all listen to me. Look, if you wanted to have black unity, right? What would you do? You wouldn't push it to nobody. You would start where? In Africa. Facts. Before you talk to the Caribbean, British blacks, South American blacks, or America, the first, if you really want to build unity as a real leader, you would start in Africa first. Then you would unite the Africans. Then you would tell the rest of us, look, y'all, the Africans is united. Come join the unity. No, they try to push unity to us to try to unite 1 billion black people. 50 million black Americans supposed to help 1 billion blacks in Africa. Do the math. No pressure on Africans to unite. No pressure on them to get rid of all their tribalism. All the talk is for us. And I'm sick of it. And we're going to look around and we're going to be over here starving. And you think we can depend when some people can't take care of themselves? They can't even take care of themselves. They running from Africa. So if we don't do what we got to do and keep our money here and circulate our money between each other and something happen, we're going to be done. Because ain't none of these other blacks can help us. Haitians can't help us. Jamaicans can't help us. Africans can't help us. Which black people can help us if we get messed up? None of them. They begging. They broke. They running from their countries. So we don't look out for ourselves, how we gonna make it? And they're the type of people that if something go bad for us, they'll laugh. Because they jealous of us anyway. Look at Godfrey, how he turned on you. He never liked us. Godfrey never liked us. You can tell. All of a sudden, when he feel like he got an African contingency, look how he flip-flop. Oh, I got some Africans I can ride with. I don't got to fake with. I don't got to pretend I like these Black Americans. He over there talking flip his whole thing that he been pushing. He flipped it. And it's going to crash. And when he crashed, don't y'all take him back. Don't take him back. Let him stay out there. If you look at that show, it's called 154, right? 54 is the 54 countries in Africa. At least 5 or 6 of them countries is Arab, ain't even Black. So technically, they adding the Arabs in there, but they ain't include nobody else. Jamaicans ain't included. Brazilians not included. Black Americans ain't included, but they keep talking about us. But your title is 154. Why don't you just talk about the 54? Why is you talking about us? We not the 54. You know why? Because they trying to monetize off of us. But we not in the name. It's 154. And anybody that ain't there in the 54 shouldn't watch that shit. And their conversation should be about the 54. Now, I don't be trolling, so I ain't going to go over there and say that in their comments, but that's what it is. I'm going to do a live with the title, so every time you search them, my video come up where I'm going to be telling them, shut up and stick with the 54. The brother talking about how great Africa is, but you made your money in the NFL. Over here getting our money. You ain't make no damn money in Africa. You sucked up. You was a Negro in the NFL. And now that you ain't in the NFL, now you back an African. You wasn't no African. He wasn't no African. He wasn't no African. He was in the NFL. He wasn't talking none of that. Now he out there in the NFL. Now he back an African. Made all his money. I didn't make a dime in Africa. You made all your money over here playing football. Being a make-believe foundation of Black America. We the ones work to start the NFL. Africans ain't starting no NFL, Major League Baseball, or none of that. They'll go try to find some brother from South America with, Roberto Clemente. You know what I'm saying? This is what they always do. Man, Roberto Clemente was one out of how many? He ain't no Willie Mays. He ain't no Billy Williams. He ain't no Fergie Jenkins. Get your ass out of here. Digging up that one African with all these Black people. You know what I'm saying? I ain't pushing hate. I don't say hate them. I'm saying just don't deal with them. I don't believe in hating brothers and sisters. I'm just saying you got to make them irrelevant. Y'all got to get to a point where y'all realize they are trying to distract us. Y'all got to realize that. These Black content creators from other places and other countries, they are trying to distract us. They're not bringing nothing to the table. They never congratulate us. You would think if they was decent, they'll be like, FBA is good. Foundation of Black America is trying to get their reparations for how they was treating slavery. They will not say that on 154. They won't say it. And Godfrey didn't show you he a phony. He bounced around grinning and cheesing. But he had to come to Chicago to make it. Why he didn't stay? Why his family didn't stay in Africa? If Africa's so great, why all y'all run over here? This is the disrespect. You run from Africa and then you praise Africa from other people's countries where you made it at. That's disrespect. You come over here to make your money And then see, white Americans see that. That's why they're gonna throw them out. We ain't the only ones see that. If they think white Americans agree with you running from Africa and then praising Africa after making money over here with them, yes, they're gonna throw you out. They see the same thing we see. They see it. Because all them Africans need to be thanking white Americans. Because if it weren't for white Americans, you wouldn't have made a dime over here. That's a fact. White Americans have done more than for Africans than they want to admit. They come over here and go to school and all that. You just seen where the Indians selling fake degrees to be doctors. So all these Indians you going to the clinic, they ain't even really doctors. Fake degrees. I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow. Mad lawsuits. Sue too. Sue them. Think about you went for some important medical thing. Think about your loved ones that passed away that an Indian doctor was their caretaker. That wasn't really even a doctor. So you don't even know if your loved ones got the proper treatment. That's going to blow up. They deporting all of them immediately. But they need to go to prison. So we need to be saving our money and sending our youth to be doctors so we got our own doctors, building our food places so we can eat our own food, building our hair places so our woman can go get her hair done from her own sisters and brothers. And we need to be having classes on how to do good business with our people so our business ain't less than other people. We can't be foundational Black Americans doing business with foundational Black Americans and they get better service from whites and Asians than they get from us. Like the Black man do a lot of yapping, but get your monkey ass out here and start providing some professional service because talk is cheap, Black man. Can you provide professional service? Can you work with another brother and build a company? Or is you just all talk and when it's time to do business with you, you's a bum? We're going to have to step that up. Because, yeah, we can get on these other people, but you can't get on other people and don't be standing on nothing, Black man, yourself. What you look like, talking about tethers and this and that, and then when you do business, you ain't on nothing. You embarrass the nation. You don't do good business. You don't show up. You ain't no loyal business partner. And your own brother from the same place you from can't even trust you around his wife or his queen. But you running your mouth. But you will snake your damn self. So the Black foundational Black American man, like get yourself together because you ain't on nothing. You act like you never seen a woman before. How we gonna go somewhere when we can't trust you around our woman, our daughters, or nothing? I'm just saying, you gotta step y'all game up, man. That's one reason we in this situation. One of the main reasons we in this situation, dealing with tethers and dealing with racism, is because the foundational Black American man is a buster. He not standing on nothing. He putting us in a situation where we can't work with him. So we got to run and work with somebody else. He ain't going to fix our car right. He ain't going to paint our house right. So now we got to call Mexicans. We got to call this one. The main reason we spending money with people that's not Black is because the foundational Black man is a bum and he don't do good work and he ain't got no Black pride in his race. And he don't got no respect for his own group. He'll do his own group dirty. Foundational Black Americans went to Africa with other foundational Black Americans and scam brothers and sisters in Africa. They get over there thinking you from America too. Scam. Go look it up. Go look and you're going to find some of the main people that scam black Americans in Africa was black Americans. Scam their own brothers and sisters. Scam you in Ghana, then he run to Gambia until you leave. As soon as you leave, he come back, scam another one, take their money, disappear somewhere else in Africa till you leave. Got somebody call him. Yeah, he left. He went broke and left. Okay, he come back, scam somebody else. Yeah, our own brothers and sisters put us in these situations. Straight up. Sometime I come over here and go live. You know who the first one come over here hating? Another foundational black American. Can't wait to come over here hating. But that same brother turn around and say, stop the gang violence and all that. Bro, the stuff you doing is what lead to gang violence. Disrespect, scamming, not minding your business. How you gonna teach the shorties something when you doing the same thing the shorties be doing to get unalive? Then I be looking at some of you brothers, and I be like, what you think really gonna what happen to you in these streets while you complaining about the streets being too violent, and then you violate, you the one creating the violence. You the one creating that. You the one teaching the shorties to be all out of line. Like all that stuff got to change, man. And it got to change like now. And we got to get to the point where if a brother ain't right, we got to out him and get him out of here. Nobody don't do no business with him, block him off, all of that. We got to excommunicate people, because if we don't excommunicate people, then we ain't going to build no serious crew. You know, when they see you not playing, then everybody will come and be serious. But if you let too many bozos come, then everybody else think they could be a bozo. I suffer on this channel because I block so many people. But in the long run, I'm going to have the purest channel. I'm going to have the channel where people can come and say, one thing about over there, it ain't going to be no bozos. He's not going to allow people to come over there and distract us with clown stuff. He's trying to bring us up. Not no, you trolling, you see a brother talking, here you come with the bozo stuff, and then you tripping on me. I'm from outside. So yeah, I'm going to be tripping because you don't do that outside. So I know you're a fraud. I'm seeing brothers on the internet doing stuff they do not do on the streets. They got to sneak and do that kind of stuff. They cannot be straight out belligerent like that. There's nobody on the streets talking crazy. There's nobody on the streets talking crazy. Nobody. They get on the internet and do stuff they can't really do in real life, distracting the people, doing all kind of stuff. You know, do the same thing on the internet you do on the streets. But for you to come with all that negativity when black people trying to build and bring something, you know, I don't mind you young brothers, but come bring something to the table though. Like uplift the conversation. If you want to be a clown, go to the circus, man. They hire it. You know, go down to WGN and tell them you want to be the new bozo. They might hire you. But stop getting in serious stuff playing. And it's like you're going to keep playing until they go into a cashless society and shut us down and we out here starving. And you're going to be the main one starving. Like, this stuff ain't funny. Like, we got to get ourselves together, I'm telling you. So all this claiming African, now we need to focus on what we got going on here. It's 50 million of us here. No leader is going to teach you nothing about Africa because we can't get everybody to Africa, right? So if I can't that's why I never went to Africa. I never went to Africa because I would have had to leave y'all. And I'm like, I'm not going to Africa and something happened to y'all over here. I was in the mountains in Hawaii growing herb. And one morning, my guardian angel came to me and woke me out of my sleep and said, when you get to Africa, if you look in a newspaper or turn on TV or the radio and you heard that Black Americans got hurt over here, how would you feel? And that's the day I changed my whole plans. I said, I can't go to Africa. Because I can't go to Africa and look at something happen to y'all over here. So if something gonna happen to y'all over here, it's gonna happen to me too. So that's when I start saying, brothers is running to Africa. Like if you're a foundational Black American and you going to Africa, you ain't going to Africa, you running. Like a little B word. Yeah, you running. You leaving your own troop to run somewhere. You're supposed to stay here and stand on something. And how Africa gonna respect you when you ran over there in his troop? And he ain't never gonna take you in over there. You ain't him. You ain't gonna never be him. All that your DNA Africa. Africans don't deal with that. Vic Mensa is not gonna be considered no African nowhere in Africa. They'll play with him like an African because he got some money. They figure he's a rapper. They'll let him come take pictures and all that. But if he go over there and go broke, they'll chase his ass out of there. Soon as he get on their nerve, what they gonna tell Vic? You ain't no African anyway. That's what they gonna tell him when they get mad. Your mother is a white lady. You are not an African. You are not us. You are not from this tribe. That's what they gonna tell him when they get mad. That he'll never be no African. Never. For him to be an African, his mama and daddy gotta be an African. And they gotta be from that tribe. If he a mixed tribe, he's still gonna have some confusion. Because if we Buntu, then my mama Buntu and my daddy Buntu. That's Africa. You understand? Y'all got to stand on y'all square like I'm serious about this. We ain't no Africans. We ain't going to never be no Africans. We foundational Black America. This is what we been. Well, y'all done been here too many. Y'all been here since the 17, 16, 1500s. Black people was here already. So there was Black people here. There was Black people bought here. There was Black people traveled here. So there was Black people living here, there was Black people that traveled here, and there was Black people that was bought here. And all them different Black people mixed and became foundational Black Americans. So don't argue if you the one that was already here, or you the one that traveled here, or if you the one that was bought here. Black man, you're supposed to know better than that. You're supposed to know better than that. You be outside. You know that if you traveled here on your own, or if you was here on your own, and you seen a fine Black woman that was bought over here and family bought on the slave ship, you know you finna deal with her, go up in there and get her pregnant. You was not gonna pass up on no fine woman because you was here and her family came on no slave ship. Stop. You're gonna knock that back, fall in love, and that's gonna be your wife. In the real world, we in the real world. You know we mixing. You know we ain't passing up on no coochie. We don't give a damn where it's from if we like her. So all this, I'm strictly a Moor. You telling more lies. Like Moors only slept with Moors. Bro, tell them cockamamie lies to somebody else. Love don't work like that. Attraction don't work like that. You don't get attracted because somebody in Africa, This woman married that woman, and the two kings had a marriage to bond the two tribes. So if tribes was having sex and having babies, what make you think you came over here and the whole time you been a Moor? And then when I see your mom and your mama and daddy ain't been no damn Moors, fool. You're lying. Your mama and your daddy ain't no Moors. They never was no Moors. Their relatives ain't no Moors. You made up you was a Moor. You made that up. Because nobody in your family was no Moor. Your family do not trace back to no Moors. You just making shit up. Now you might got some Moorish DNA. Fine. I got some Egyptian DNA. But I ain't no Egyptian. I got Egyptian DNA. That's why my name Pharaoh Elaton. I got the DNA. But that DNA is not enough to make me no Egyptian. You what you born, where you raised at. I'm born in Chicago. I'm not born in Egypt. My DNA don't overrule where I'm born at. My DNA don't overrule that. It's there. I acknowledge it. But it's down the line. It ain't first. How that's going to come before being a Chicagoan? I'm from Chicago. Then I'm from Illinois. Then I'm from the United States. Then all that other stuff. Period. How I'm more Egyptian than Chicago? Mind you, Sunrise told me Chicago remind him of Egypt. We take our ideas with us. On top of that, according to the Bible, the Holy Land, the Nile River, splits into seven streams. The real Nile, the Nile in Africa only splits into 3. The only river that splits into 7 is the Mississippi. The Bible says the Holy River of the Nile splits into 7 different streams. The Nile River only splits into 3. The only river in the world that fit the Holy River in the Bible is the Mississippi. The Mississippi splits into 7. Facts. You know why? Because this, right, was the West Nile. And over there was the East. You understand? But that was the Nile. But this was West Kemet. And that over there was East Kemet. Go read the Egyptian Book of the Dead and all of that. This was West Kemet before the Pangea. So when you see all them Egyptian stuff in the Grand Canyon, that stuff floated over here. That stuff was put together when all this was one. So when the Pangea split, all them ancient Egyptian artifacts was already on this landmass and floated. It took many years before it got this far apart. At one time, it was still close enough like a river. But over thousands of years, America floated further and further and further. And on your right, that big ball of water, you see that island right there? That's sunk. That's Atlantis. That sunk. That's why you don't see the land that's here. Because they didn't do this right. They should have put Atlantis there, but they don't know what it's shaped like. And when you look on your left and you see Hawaii, that's the top of Mu. So its land's supposed to be on this left side too, but it's sunk. So Mu and Atlantis is not in this map, but yeah, there's supposed to be a big landmass on your left where Hawaii's at, and there's supposed to be a big landmass in this circle next to Africa where that island is at. Those are not islands, those are the top of mountains that's under the ocean. See, Hawaii's not an island. Hawaii is the top of the mountains that shoot out lava. And when Mu sunk, the lava, the volcano sunk, right? So picture this is Mu, and it's got volcanoes, and it's sink, and the volcanoes is underwater. Now the volcanoes gonna still be making lava. After so many years, the lava gonna go, because lava makes new land. So eventually the lava gonna go and start making land on the top. And then it's going to keep shooting lava and make what? The Hawaiian Islands. So if you go thousand years with Kilauea and Mauna Loa letting out lava, eventually Hawaii going to be a big-ass piece of land because the lava runs down like this and make land, then run down and make more land, then run down and make more land. So when the lava go down and hit the ocean, it dries and make land. Then when the next lava come down on top of that, it go further and make land. So volcanoes create land. The lava turns to land. After so long, the lava start turning to sand. That eventually, over so many hundreds of years, becomes dirt, soil. Birds be flying and boo-boo and pooping seeds, and things start growing. So a bird will go over here, eat some fruit, swallow some of the seeds, fly far, poop, the seeds be there. Also the other animals. An animal will eat some papayas, they gonna swallow the seeds. The animal walk way over here, poop, papayas start growing. Then the wind blows that stuff too. So now that becomes fertile after so many hundreds or thousands of years. Facts. So technically, you could have came from any, if you brought a big circle here, you could have came from any of these parts. To be honest, you could have came from any of that. To be honest. So we want to argue about where we from. Rakim already told you, it ain't where you from, it's where you at. He already told you. So we got to get our heads in the game over here in America. I'm going to tell you straight up. We got to get our heads in the game. We can't keep functioning, and we got to cut off these black men that are professional distractors. They got to be kicked out the circle. How long you going to let people interrupt our knowledge and always come with a bunch of confusion, and every time they come in a chat or whatever, they ain't never got nothing to add. They always got some kind of argument or something to take away. That's got to end. They don't never bring nothing to the table but arguments and confusion. Where we going to go with that? I get it all the time. I'll be over here trying to talk. Instead of a brother mind his business, he want to come over here and distract. And it's like, how long we going to keep dealing with cowards? Because that's coward mentality. Using the internet to hide and do stuff that you can't do in real life. A grown-ass man. Like, seriously. Seriously. So I'm dropping it on y'all tonight. I don't know who's going to pick up on what I'm saying and who not. But now when it comes to reparations, it's back up. We're not doing no more plan. Okay? We got to get on code, and we got to get this reparation. The reparations is a thing that if you don't stand on it, you're going to lose our respect. You're going to lose our respect. Period. We can't afford to lose respect. We can't. And if we don't stand on that, we're going to lose respect. I'm telling you right now. We're going to lose our respect. Nobody going to respect us. Nobody. Nobody going to respect us if we drop that ball. Nobody. And we got too many people out here. That's all they do. We got people that they want to be something different every 3 years. 1 minute they FBA. They'll be something else. Well, one way to stop them from bouncing around is kick them out. Because you got a bunch of phonies. They don't represent FBA. They don't represent nothing. They represent confusion, and they just want to be seen. That's it. They ain't standing on nothing. You know what I'm saying? They just want to be seen. So they see us doing something, and they want to jump in the way and interfere. They just want to be seen. And they're going to start typing FBA, FBA. You see them in your daily life, fake friends. We got a lot of them. They don't have no real intentions on us, like getting nothing. They just playing. We got to weed them out. That to them is just a place to be seen. And like we got to start making that be not cool. Making them have to get another YouTube account because they blocked. If you block them enough, they'll stop doing that. They'll stop playing with you like that. If you get serious and block them, we got to get our own like rules on this social media. I'm not kidding. That's why I know y'all say, "Dang, he going in." I'm serious. We got to get some rules because we got too many clowns that's coming into our conversations. I'm going to keep it real. And we got to let brothers know that's not really funny. And you ain't going to have nowhere where you can go. Everywhere you go, you're going to be looked at as natural. I mean, unwanted. You're going to be unwanted everywhere you go. You're not going to be respected like that. You're letting too many trolls stay on the internet. They think it's funny. Make them have to keep getting accounts. Yeah, they need to make them really have ID verification to get accounts so they can't keep duplicating accounts and ruining conversations and clowning and playing around on the internet and ain't really bringing nothing to the table. You don't know if they Russians. You don't even know who they are. You don't know who they are. None. And we got to stop, as Foundation of Black Americans, we got to stop arguing with other people from other places. They got to mind their business. You know what I'm saying? They got to mind their business. We can't keep letting people jump into our business. I ain't kidding. We can't be letting people jump in our business and be making comments and getting in our business ain't got nothing to do with our business. We trying to make social media be somewhere we can get something accomplished. It's not an open book to come into our circle and disrupt it. From today, I'm not giving them 2 seconds. That's why I wanted to come over and get a lot of stuff clear because there's going to be some big changes. I don't mind playing with people, but we turning up. When you come over here, anything you saying, you getting blocked and deleted before I get up here good. Because we just got too much going on right now. We just ain't got no time. It was cool, it was funny, but we got too much going on right now. We don't got no room for no fools. A fool got to go find a fool account. Yeah, that's just what it is. You got to be about something to get respect over here. You can't just come over here. Because I'm getting ready to have my Pharaoh Said That live, and I'm not going to let you come over there and talk for 2 seconds if you ain't bringing nothing that's interesting for the audience. Because some people got their children watching this with them. And what kind of, any grown man that don't know how to behave themselves, you got to go. You're too old for that behavior. It can't be tolerated. We got to start blackballing people. We got to start making it, because some content creators, they don't care who come as long as they get the views. And I understand that. They might be talking and there's too many people. But that's why we be trying to get a whole lot of mods to try to keep some type of order. Because it's getting ridiculous. We can't get nothing done. And when it comes to what we try to do at FBA, clearly we got a lot of black immigrants, and they showing their true colors. To me, they showing their true colors. To me. They coming over here with disrespect, and they're not serious. And they're able to do that from account to account to account, jump and not be serious. And them days got to be over. They got to just get blocked. Because we really got serious work to do. And them same ones over here playing, when this system blow up in their face, they're going to be the main ones out there begging for somebody to help them because they think everything is a joke. Sometimes you have children like that. But you have a lot of friends be like that. Everything is a joke. Everything is a joke. I know I can name so many people that everything was a joke. Everything was half. And next thing you know, they get evicted. They lose their home, everything. Then they call in looking for help. But the whole time, everything was a joke to them. They were never serious. They never really stood on nothing. They never really managed their money. They didn't take their job serious or nothing. They wasted money. They played all the time. And then it blow up in their face. You work like a dog. You send your money to the side. And now this person calling you want your money while they was playing while you was working. Now they want you to bail them out. And I know people that just did it, and when they bailed them out, the person went and played again and wasted that money. I knew a gangster. He passed away. He was from Croatia, or whatever that country is right there next to Italy. And he told me and my brethren, he said, listen to me. He said, when you find a man in the gutter, leave him there. Because that's where you want to be. Victory.
This is 13 corporations that profited from slavery. So here we go. Number 1, J.P. Morgan Chase. Between 1831 and 1865, 2 predecessor banks, Citizens Bank and Canal Bank in Louisiana, accepted approximately 13,000 enslaved individuals as collateral on loans and took ownership of approximately 1,250 of them when the plantation owners defaulted on the loans. Number 2, New York Life, an insurance company, sold insurance policies on enslaved Africans. Number 3, Wachovia. 2 historical predecessors owned enslaved Africans and accepted them as payment. Number 4, N.M. Rothschild and Sons Bank in London. Nathan Mayer Rothschild, the banking family's 19th century patriarch, made personal gains by using enslaved Africans as collateral in dealings with a slave owner. I have a list of this, so if I stumble, it's because I have a lot of chicken scratch. Number 4, Norfolk Southern offered slaveholders $180. That's $3,379 today. This article was written in 2013. So that's $3,379 today a piece for enslaved Africans they would rent to the railroad for 1 year. The Central Georgia, another company aligned with Norfolk Southern Line today, valued slaves at $31,303. Today that would be $663,033. Did I say that right? Yes. $663,033. Hopefully that came out right. Sounds weird. Number 5. U.S. Today found that their parent company, E.W. Scripps and Gannett, had links to the slave trade. Number 6. Fleet Boston evolved from an early financial institution. Providence Bank founded John Brown, who was a slave trader and owned ships used to transport enslaved Africans. The bank financed Brown's slave voyages and profited from them. Brown even reportedly helped charter what became Brown University. Number 7. CSX used slave labor to construct portions of U.S. rail lines under the political and legal system that was in place more than a century ago. 2 enslaved Africans were John Henry and Reuben. The record states they were to be returned clothed when they arrived to work for the company. Number 8. Canadian National Railway Company. The Mobile and Ohio, now part of Canadian National, valued their slaves lost to the war and emancipation at $199,691 on record. That amount is currently worth $2.2 million. Whew. Number 9. Brown Brothers Harriman, the oldest and largest private investment bank, founded 1818, owned hundreds of enslaved Africans and financed the cotton economy by lending millions to Southern planters, merchants, and cotton brokers. Number 10. Brooks Brothers, high-end suit retailer, got their start selling slave clothes to various slave traders in the 1800s. They got their start by selling slave clothes. Number 11, Barclays. British multinational banking and financial services company headquartered in London, has now conceded that companies brought over the years may have been involved in the slave trade. Number 12, Lehman Brothers. This business empire started in the slave trade. Quote from Joe Pelizzotto. This is a sad part of our history or our heritage. We're deeply apologetic. It was a terrible thing. There's no one sitting in the United States in the year 2005, hopefully, who would ever in a million years defend the practice. 13. Aetna. Aetna? Aetna. U.S. largest health insurer, apologized for selling policies in the 1850s that reimbursed slave owners for financial losses when the enslaved Africans they owned died. Aetna has long acknowledged that for several years shortly after its founding in 1853, that the company may have insured the lives of slaves. A few other people or a few other corporations, companies that profited from slavery: Princeton, Harvard Law School, Tiffany & Co., Bank of America, Yale University, and Wells Fargo.